All right. Welcome, everybody. All right. I'm excited about tonight's episode because why? That means we have 6 weeks left until it's time for Georgia Tech versus Colorado. So, welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Give people time to join us. How's everybody doing? Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Tina. Hey, Gracie. All right, everybody. So, hit the like button for me. Let me know you can hear me. We're good to go. Um, So, season 3 of the Coach Prime era has started at Colorado. And I would think by now that we know how this goes, right? Yes, we're excited about the season. We've made some predictions. I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to revise my prediction now that I have an idea of who's on the team and will likely be on the team. Um, the college football game, the ratings for 26 came out and it left people feeling like confused, right? And I felt like just like the game underestimated and didn't even consider a lot of our players. The media is doing the same thing. The media has given a prediction for Colorado's win-loss at 6 games. Colorado is expected to be ranked, if I'm not mistaken, 10th or 11th in the Big 12. 10th or 11th in the Big 12. Let me say that one more time. Colorado, who went 9-4 last year, is expected to be ranked number 10 or 11 in the Big 12. Now, here's the interesting factor about this, right? The media is saying that our team was decimated. We lost so many players. We lost Travis, we lost Shador, and just with the dynamic duo being gone, they feel like Colorado won't be able to rebuild and be a winning team. So it's like we have to start over from the beginning. But get this: 2025 we're predicted 6-6. Guess what we were predicted win loss in 2024 with Travis, with Shador, the same thing. In fact, it went down a little bit depending on who you ask to 5-7. And I'm like, what the hell are y'all looking at? I'm like, first of all, you said we were going 6-6 with Travis and Shador. And now that Travis and Shador are gone, you giving us the same win or loss when we had the dynamic duo, when we had an elite wide receiver core, when we actually went 9-4. And I was like, you got to remember, these people just don't want to see Coach Prime win. I mean, that's really what it is. And in addition to not wanting to see Coach Prime win, they only want to see one player come out of Colorado. See, they gave us the blueprint in the draft. Let's ignore everybody else and take Travis. Well, we're already on the same path for next year. Let's take Seton, and we're not going to talk about nobody else. But just like 2024 going into, the class going into the 2025 draft, there were 16 players? 15, 14, I think, with Will Shepherd associated with an NFL team, right? And we have LeJounte, who's second on the depth chart in Baltimore. We have Jimmy Horn Jr., who Carolina Panthers love. They're going to move him up. He's 3 right now. He probably going to end up number 2 because the person in front of him had a question mark. And they like him a lot. So they probably want to keep him front and center. And they already know he's a good player. And then there's Travis, right? The one that they want to pick and segregate away from everybody else. But here's the reality. Coach Prime had 14 or 15 of his players who they projected to only win 6 games, which means we will become bowl eligible, and that's it. 14 or 16 of those players on a 6-6 predicted team with Travis and Shador. And we went 9-4, and 14 out of 16 was associated with the NFL. I think 15 or 16 is associated with the pros because there's also the CFL. So the draft wasn't just about Shador, right? There's only one black head coach in the Big 12. Y'all know who it is. There are 0 black head coaches in the SEC. I checked again today. 0, right? There's 16 black head coaches throughout the Power 5, but only one in the Big 12. What are the implications for Coach Prime doing exceptional, winning year after year? People are afraid that those doors will continue to open to Black head coaches. Therefore, some people feel like they will be out of a job. And we have seen since Coach Prime left Jackson State, the doors in HBCUs are opening, the doors in other Division One schools that are not necessarily Power Five, but then again, Syracuse have been opening. And they don't want that to happen across the Big 12. They don't want that to happen in the SEC. Not only does the SEC have zero Black head coaches, they might have zero Black quarterbacks. I think we have to look. Is it Lenora Sellers the only one? South Carolina? So that's where we are. They only want one player to be seen and selected in the upcoming draft in 2026 from Colorado, because what does it mean if Coach Prime had 2 or 4 or 6 players to go to the NFL last year? That's exactly what happened. The entire wide receiver core was drafted or signed. They didn't really talk about it, did they? Had they gone higher in the draft, round 1, round 2, round 3, you would have heard about it. But because they were pushed further down, just like Shedeur, what happened? You only heard about Travis. You can see the same pattern of behavior starting to present itself. Jordan Seaton. But hey, just like last year, we have more than one player. We got Caden. We got DJ McKinney. We got Preston Hodge. We got Xavier Hill. That's 4. We have Omarion Miller. That's 5. I can keep going. I can keep going. We got Mata. That's 6. That's already 6 that are already really, really good. So when you see the rankings for EA, you have to kind of know that that's kind of political. And I'm really proud of the guys on the way that they handled it. Caden was asked about his 88. He said, oh, it'll be back up there to 90. Be back up there to 90, because it already was. That EA Sports and the ratings for CU in comparison to Georgia Tech is crazy. When you consider Georgia Tech went 76 last year. Colorado went 9-4, and they're in the 80s and 90s. We're in the 70s and 80s. It's political. It's just like the draft. Colorado can't get too much love. I heard somebody say, is the hype dead with Colorado? Here's the thing. It was never hype. Going 3-0 was not a fluke. Some people got together and decided, oh, we can't let this continue. And the team was sabotaged from within, but nobody wants to talk about that. Right? And you know what nobody else wants to talk about? How Colorado, with the dynamic duo, Travis and Shedeur, predicted to go 6-6 with them, even though we went 9-4, or predicted to have the same record without them. Now, how does that work? How does that work? How is it that we got the same record we have last year? So that means Travis nor Shedeur were a factor. Travis won the Heisman. And then there's Jackson State. Yeah, I'm wearing my Jackson State t-shirt. In addition to wearing a Jackson State t-shirt, I got a video right here of me at Jackson State. Right? And the whole purpose of me sharing this video is because I was already thinking about the good old days, Jackson State, how we just went to the games and we just had fun. And yeah, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't exhausted either. It wasn't exhausted either, like it is now, right? The team being undervalued and underranked year after year, being sabotaged. It's year 3, and the same script is being played. We're being pushed down further than we were before, but yet we're predicted to have the same win-loss record with Travis and Shedeur, both Heisman candidates. Both top 10 Heisman candidates. Top 5, depending on who you ask. And then, when they want to explain this year, even though they gave us 6-6 with Travis and Shedeur last year, guess what the reason is? Oh, well, they lost Travis and Shedeur. Well, damn. When we had Travis and Shedeur, we were given a 6-6. Without them, we're 5-7 or 6-6. And get this, right? They don't even look at the fact that Coach Prime transformed Jackson State too. They want to start with 2023. No, 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 no. See, Coach Prime's coaching record involves Jackson State, but the media don't want to take into account that 2023 was the only bad year. Yes, it was. 2023 was the only bad year on Coach Prime's record because at Jackson State in 2021, he was 11-2. And then in 2022, he was 12-1. So he improved by one game. How many years did Travis Hunter play at Jackson State? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. So, what I'm pointing out is that Coach Prime at Jackson State in 2021 won the SWAC. They went 11-2. Travis Hunter was still in high school. And when Travis Hunter joined them in 2022, the only year he played at Jackson State, they went 12-1. They improved by one game. Not that much of a difference. So there's 2 winning seasons right there. I don't know if they count the COVID year because 2020 got interrupted. So the only bad year took place at Colorado after they went 3-0. Suddenly the O-line couldn't do what they needed to do after they went 3-0. See, they proved themselves at 3-0. We knew we had an O-line at 3-0, but suddenly things changed. And we know what happened there, right? They don't talk about that. So, see, it's year 3, and we're back to the same script. Colorado's going to be ranked 10th or 11th. They lost Travis and Shedeur and their elite wide receiver core. All facts. That were all pushed down in the draft. So they were elite in college, but not in the NFL. That's what we're hearing. We only had one elite player on an NFL level. That's what we're supposed to believe. That's what they try to sell you. And they already doing it again. But it's hard to dismiss Caden. He's top 15 QB. They want to talk about Seton more than they want to talk about Caden. Caden's the quarterback. Most important position on the team. The same goes for college. You see how that works? So the reality is, and I'm going to just make a bold prediction here. We could actually go 12-0. I think I said 11-1, maybe losing to Arizona State. But I don't know. I think we might win that game. I think we might win the Arizona State game. You let me know your thoughts. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I just want Colorado fans, don't get yourself in a tizzy when you start hearing all these crazy predictions, the same as last year. Even with Travis and Shedeur, and then we're gonna lose without Travis and Shedeur, but we weren't gonna win with them. Jackson State totally overlooked. Travis only played 1 of the 2 years. The point is, regardless of who's on the roster, Coach Prime is a winning coach unless people start meddling. Unless people start meddling. I was watching the Kansas State highlights popped up because ESPN put out highlights for Colorado's season last football season, right? They decided to put that out today, I guess because it's media day. And I was listening to them talk about we should have won the Kansas game. And somebody announced and said we lost the Kansas game because Travis was out. I'm like, excuse me? We lost the game because of pass interference that was or was not called. I forget which one it was. We got cheated in that game. Coach Prime is a winning coach unless people start meddling. And even in year 2, they meddled. But Coach Prime knew we have to be up by more than 1 touchdown. We can't be close. And that's what happened to us. We didn't realize that in the Kansas game, but we realized it after that. And we always try to make it be a sizable difference. Now, Caden Salter is not just a dual threat quarterback with deep ball accuracy. They expect Caden to be the number one rushing quarterback in the Big 12. And we're going to win 6 games. You see how it don't make sense? We're going to win 5 games without Travis and Shador. You see how it don't make sense? It's like they're not considering who Caden is. They're not considering that Travis did not play for Jackson State when they went 11-2. They're not considering that it doesn't matter who's on the roster. Coach Prime develops players. They're not considering his track record going back to Jackson State. They want to hang on to year one as long as possible without talking about meddling and sabotage. If you look at his entire track record, you can see that something happened in year one. And it wasn't incompetence. You can see that there was some meddling somewhere. Because you don't go 3-0, predicted to lose every last one of them games, and you win. And your first game out the gate with TCU, you blow it out the water. And they said HBCU kids couldn't do it. So see, in year one, they said they couldn't do it because they came from an HBCU. In year two, with Travis and Shador, they said we're going 6-6. In year three, without Travis and Shador, we're going 6-6. So that ought to tell you we probably going better than 9-4. I noticed analysts tiptoeing around Caden taking liberty to an undefeated season because I think that's what's getting ready to happen in Colorado. That's my prediction. Caden finna run it back. Not just the Heisman, but undefeated. And if we lose a game, it ain't going to be but one. One thing we already know, we do have Hall of Fame winning coaches, right? We did get to 9-4 with half of an O-line. So now let's look at who we have this time. We got Jordan Seaton on the outside, and you know he gonna hold it down. But see, in addition to Jordan Seaton, we have somebody they don't talk about. Xavier Hill already getting accolades and recognition in the Big 12 along with Jordan Seaton. That's 2. There are others. They don't talk about them. See, the game chose people. I don't know why they chose who they chose. But they didn't take the best people that we have on the O-line. It feels a little political to me, right? I even was asking, where was Tawfiq Thomas? Where was Tawfiq Byard? Where was London Merritt? Why was Zach Atkins so low? It's like they took all of our best people that we just got and they lowballed them. It feels political to negate Coach Prime's recruiting for the 2026 season. And I have already heard somebody say that the 2026 class recruiting is down. So understand that a lot of what's happening is a script that has played out when we had Travis and Shador and when we didn't. But one thing is a constant. Coach Prime's winning record when people aren't meddling. Why are they meddling? Because there's only one Black head coach in a Power 5. And if Coach Prime begins to win consistently, there will be others. And there are people that don't want that. That's why there's 0 in the SEC. So let me see what y'all's thoughts are here. Hey, everybody. Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Hey, Crowley. It said, what? It don't make everybody think that we gonna win. It to me, it's like they just trying to trash the perception of the program. That's what I get from it. It's like they're just trying to trash the perception of the program. And here's the thing: Colorado is already sold out for the 3rd season. So contrary to what they are saying. 6-6 last year with Travis and Shador. We went 9-4 with half of an O line. See, people thought it was just about Shador, Coach Prime's kids. No, it was about making sure that only one player come out at the top into the NFL, because then what happens? What happens if it was Shador and Travis first round? What happens if it really was Jimmy Horn Jr. in the late first round or second round, and LaJohntay in the second round? What happens? That's 4 CU players at the top. That's a lot to talk about. Nobody really talked about the fact that 14 or 15 of CU's players got associated with an NFL team and went to the pros, whether it's the NFL or the CFL. They didn't really talk about it. So I hope y'all could kind of see we already headed right down that path, starting with one, the low projection, even without Travis and Shador, which don't make sense. Because you said we're going to lose without them, but you said we was going to lose with them. They already talking about one player, Jordan Seaton. You already heard his name thrown about with Cleveland. Why haven't you heard Caden Salter's name associated? He's supposed to be the number one rushing QB coming out the Big 12. You should hear his name already associated with the team if you hear Jordan Seaton. That's 2. We know DJ McKinney. That's 3. We know Marion. They trying to discount him. That's 4. Preston Hodge, number one safety in the country last year. That's 5. It's going to be hard to do and repeat the 2025 draft with the 2026 draft, because then you're going to see the pattern. Then you're going to start to realize this wasn't about Coach Prime. This is about Black coaches sending a lot of players to the NFL from the where? The Power 5. So season 3 has begun, and so has the hatred. And the only reason you can say Colorado is going 5-7 or 6-6, because that's what you wish to happen. Unless you know that we're going to have some meddling. Now, I wasn't happy, and I'll tell anybody, I really wasn't happy to see certain people from the right side of the O-line return. In fact, I didn't want to see nobody from the right side of the O-line to return. I didn't. And I hope that that's not our only options. And I don't think that they are. Because honestly, that was the most problematic side. And my thing is, either these guys didn't know each other well enough, but you knew what was happening and you didn't say nothing or do nothing to stop it, including sending Coach Prime an email. Hey, it seemed like it's a problem. We trying to do everything we can. And yeah, that's what should have happened. And the fact that that didn't happen, I can't trust it. So the first time we see giving way repeatedly from the right side, we're going to have a problem. That means somebody's still meddling. So, that's pretty much what it is. And it's season 3. The hatred has begun. Yes, I'm pining away for Jackson State because that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I feel like we should just go back to that. Somebody, it don't matter. Northside State, it don't matter. Everybody think we're going to win 3 games. Yep. Good evening. What she said, how you doing? How you doing? MSD 767, how you doing? It said the narrative. What does it say? The narrative, we lost a bunch of players, is a lie. I mean, we did lose a lot of players. We lost almost 20 people. But here's the thing. It's not the players. It's not the players. It's Coach Prime. When Coach Prime went to Jackson State and won the SWAC after 12 years and did it again with a different squad, including Travis, in year 2, it's not Coach Prime. Travis was not on that 11-2 squad. He was on the 12-1 squad. That's one game. And then to come to Colorado and go 3-0 with a whole new crop of players, that's Coach Prime. And then to go 9-4 and make it to a bowl game as promised. with a different group of players and a different set of coaches. Yeah, there was a rebuild in year two. Remember? We were supposed to go 6-6. We went 9-4. And here we are again with some new coaches. Not as many, but I mean, the running back coach is different. We have different strength and conditioning. Everybody talks about how good the guys look. It's Coach Prime. That's the main ingredient. That's the key ingredient. And people are saying if he win this year, another conference, another school is going to snatch him up. No. Again, underestimating what Coach Prime would do and talking about what they would do. They want to talk about the players that we lost. We still have Coach Prime. That's the main ingredient. Year over year, even coming in 3-0, kicking the door down. And people started meddling. And they meddled on the right side last year. Now, if we put it all together this year, like the UCF game, if we play 12 complete games with a quarterback that is a true dual threat, the entire wide receiver core, which is already described as exceptional, they should have been in the 90s. We going 12-0. We beat Georgia Tech. We going 12-0. Georgia Tech was ranked in the 80s and the 90s on that game. They had us in the 80s and the 70s. They only went 7-6, and most of their team is still intact. So how do you account for such a high score and give us a low score? The same way you see that they gave us 6-6 with Travis and Shador in 2024 and 6-6 with Travis without Travis and Shador. Bias. This is about holding Black coaches down, making sure there's not 2 or 3 of them hired into the Big 12. That's what this is about. It's also, and part of that is making sure only 1 or 2, maybe, but 1 of Coach Prime players go in the top 10 or the first round. Yeah. That's why they push everybody else down. See, people couldn't understand when Shador got drafted why it looked like the floodgates open, because that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. They don't mind screwing over these athletes' lives to suppress the number of Black coaches in the Power Five. They didn't want to admit that HBCU kids could come over to the Power Five and kick the door in, and that's what happened. All that celebration made them sick because we didn't win quietly. All that rah-rah, the celebration, the excitement, they got to work on meddling. And it's year 3. A new squad, but we still got Coach Prime. I think we going 12-0. I think everybody has figured out that Kaden Salter is the starter. I think we know that, right? I think the media is going to underplay the fact that he has already taken Liberty to 12-0. And here is the narrative. Well, they had a different level of competition. In other words, Coach Prime going 11-2 and 12-1 in HBCU isn't all that special like Caden going 12-0 at Liberty because it's a lesser level of competition. Is it? Is it? Is it really? They said our schedule is harder this year than it was last year. They said UCF was going to annihilate us. We put a BTA on UCF. That is the most complete game that we played. That is also the game we started rotating the right side of the O-line, quarter by quarter. So if we got some loyalty on the O-line, if they sticking together, if they working toward the same benefit, if there's no jealousy because Jordan Seaton and Xavier Hill are getting a lot of love, then we're going to be 12-0. We went 9-4 with half an O-line. We're going 12-0. Georgia Tech went 7-6. They're in the ACC, yes. Caden is already ranked higher than their quarterback. That's a difference maker right there. Thank you, Salafi. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? Mississippi State has a black QB. Oh, that's good. Is he the starter? I think Ole Miss is supposed to have one or two as well. Let's see who the starter is. It said Florida. It said Florida, Arkansas, A&M, Arkansas, A&M, South Carolina projected to start black QBs. Okay, Florida, Arkansas. I think Arkansas is the guy y'all were talking about. Okay, Florida, Arkansas, A&M, South Carolina. Okay, we're gonna see how that go. It's supposed to be Alabama, supposed to be on that list too. But it didn't work out like that. Okay, that's good information. Thank you. Thank you, brother, for telling us that. Northside said Walker, Sammy, and McNeil. Is that are you talking about the defensive line, Northside? Is that who you're talking about? Andy, Irie. Oh, Andy and Irie said that to bring views. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. That's the show I was watching. Was that them talking about is the hype is dead, or was that somebody else? It said Mississippi State not gonna keep a black QB. That's gonna change. Okay, Amber. It said Travis played 1 year. That's what I thought. Saeed, welcome back. Yep, Travis played 1 year. And Travis was injured almost half that final year. Yep, he was. I was thinking about that. I said, I think he was injured. So, my thing is this is where it should finally start to sink in that you're going to have to move off that narrative about Coach Prime being different because of Travis and Shador. And I'm like, Travis wasn't even named 21. He was in high school. They don't talk about that. And yeah, I know people have to find something to talk about, but why does it have to be so negative? Honestly, there's a lot to talk about. You know how many players we have coming out in the 26 draft that should be coming out in the first and second round? Talk about that. He played 1 year. Yep. He only played 1 year and he was injured. Yep. It said it could have been 12-1 the first year. Refs took the ULM game from us. Oh, wow. I feel like I watched that. Louisiana Monroe game. Is that what that was? Travis got hurt his first season at JSU. I think CU can win it all. I agree. I think CU can win it all. I think the only team people say is iffy is Arizona State because they went to the semifinals, but I don't know. I thought they lost like 7 players, but it depends on who it was. So I think I said if we lost one game, that would be it. Only because of the strength that they went to the semifinals. And we did a prediction on our podcast before we even kind of knew who was on the team. Xavier Hill, I'm telling y'all, that's the guy. That guy right there, that guy, I don't know whose idea it was to get him from Memphis. I'm glad he came. I feel like, with Jordan on the left, and it seems like he might be on the right. Now, when they get back out, when they get on the field and they start practicing and we can figure out who's who. And if I see him on the right and I see Seaton on the left and Yaya in the middle, I'm good. I'm good. Tyler Brown is on the left. And I don't know the other two or the I don't know. But I still have my concerns about anybody on that O line from last year. Because I do feel that you realized something was going on and you should have said something. That's how I feel about it. I don't have a problem with saying that. And that concerns me. And actually last year, I didn't want nobody from the first, I didn't want nobody from year one on the O line last year. And it cost us. It cost us. And we saw it, right? And then I didn't want anybody from year two on the O line for this year. So I was like, we have who? And one of the guys was on X. I don't know. He popped up in my feed. I don't really, I didn't say nothing. I was looking at the comments and a lot of people was like not having good things to say. So it's not just me. I just didn't say anything. You know what mama say? If you don't have nothing nice to say, sometimes don't say nothing. So I just kept scrolling. It said he had haters in the locker room and coaching staff that first season. Yeah, I think he might have had some last year too, though. It's interesting that people gravitate towards Coach Prime because of his connections, and I feel like the NFL tried to dispel his connections by snubbing the program, right? Snubbing the program, and I already see that they want to cherry pick one person. I'm like, it's too many people that have honors already. DJ McKinney was actually the first person, and they already going down the same path of, oh, Travis made Shador look good. Now it's gonna be Jordan Seek make everybody else look good. And see, here's the danger with that. If the guys that are new to CU don't understand, you gotta tune that out. You gotta tune that out. And I do feel like last year there were some guys on the O line. They wanted to be the one. They wanted to be the person that people talk about, but it don't work like that, right? The media gonna talk about who they want to talk about, right? They gonna pick one person just like they pick Travis. They put Travis over Shador every day, every single day. Oh, it's all about Travis, but don't talk about no. This is a collective effort, and it's a lot of players, a lot of players, and they already on that same path. That's why I did this video. I said, oh, season 3 has started. So no, the hype is not dead. It was never hype. It was never ever hype. Coming in 3-0, it was never hype. And if you have a conversation with somebody about year one, and they say, what about the rest of the season? And you say, well, that's what sabotage looked like. They tried the Herm Edwards Coach Prime. They don't have nothing else to say because they know. They tried to do to Coach Prime exactly what they did to Herm Edwards. And even Coach Prime said it. Well, even if they did give away our plays, we still have to execute them. I mean, if you're going to give away the plays, are you really going to help to develop the players and teach them plays that you're giving away? No. So he was right. They wasn't even trying to execute them. So they tried to Herm Edwards, Coach Prime, but the difference is the Prime effect. Ain't nobody letting that go. We talked about that. I said, nobody is firing Coach Prime in year one because y'all want to give away his plays. Them people made $90 million in the first 30 days of Coach Prime association with the university. And then the business, that was CU. Then the business community made $113 million off of 6 home games. That's more than small countries' GDP. Who the hell is firing that? Nobody. You will stay here and lose first. And then season 3 is already sold out. So, yep, we just got to get past the media. We got to hope the players that have been around teach the new players, look, this is what they do. Go out here and ball out and look at who made it to where they made it. That means Coach Prime opened the door for you, but you got to do the rest of the work. Said Arizona State was relying on Cam Scatterboot. That's what I was thinking. You know what? That's exactly what I was thinking. I haven't, like I said, I've been busy today. I haven't had time. But the first thing that came to my mind about Arizona State, I said, I think they lost. They big guy, Cam Scatterboot. I said, I think he on the NFL roster. And here we go. So brother said that's facts. That's facts. So he's on an NFL roster. And with that being the case, that was their guy. That's why I say 12-0. That's what I say. It said, let's see. Contextual said in the Kansas State game, we lost about 5 receivers. Was that the game all 5 receivers went down and we lost the entire wide receiver core? Okay. All right. I knew it wasn't just because of Travis. I was like, I don't think so. And even then, we were still coming back and we got cheated because the game was close. See, the refs have 3 calls that they can use at their discretion. We talked about this. We saw them use one of them that is red discussed taunting, taunting, holding, and pass interference. They weaponized all three against Colorado. There was one announcer in one game that said it on air. Pass interference is not called for others like it is against Colorado. So, I told y'all the NCAA has a process where you can complain about refs. We might have to take advantage of that this year. We didn't know about it last year. It was too late to find out about it. We're gonna have to exercise that. Because if we're supposed to go 6-6 last year and went 9-4, and we come on and win 3-0, they're gonna start the same foolishness all over again. The same foolishness. Because the goal is still the same. And what is it? If the goal is about black coaches, it's gonna always be the goal. That's not gonna change. Arizona State, overrated in my opinion. Good. I'm happy to hear somebody say that. That's who they talking about gonna take the Big 12. I haven't heard them say anything about BYU since they lost their quarterback. And I don't know where he ended up. Did he end up anywhere? Is he still in the portal? I don't know. Contextual said Warren Sapp has proven to be a good coach. Yeah, and they overlooked that. And they underestimating the team, even though, in my opinion, the two O linemen that I know we have, Yaya's a third. Tyler, I think is good. And I feel like Tyler, they gave him like a 75 in that game. I don't know. I don't watch him enough, but I hope that he is inspired by all the goodness around him, because I do kind of feel that last year it was too much negativity going on that O line, and I kind of sometimes wondered if that kind of got to him too. That's just a thought I had. I never shared it, but it's just a thought that I had. Not saying it did. It was just something I wondered. But I like Tyler. He came from Jackson State. So did Jeremiah Brown, Alejandro Mata. Are they the last three? I think they're the last three. It's that the defense will be much improved. See, I don't know what was wrong with the defense last year. I thought at one point we had the number one defense in college football early on. So I don't understand what went wrong. I thought Nikhil Green did a good job. I thought Keaton Wade did a good job. Most times I thought Shiloh, when he wasn't injured, I thought he did a good job. The lineman, hell, Chidozie, I thought he did a good job. I just feel like on man coverage, I think I heard a lot of people say we got beat on man because we didn't know when to play it. It's like we was playing man because that's what we wanted to play, but we weren't playing man coverage based on the team that we were playing. Do y'all have any thoughts about that? Because I don't really know. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I could see it. There was some times, like when Shiloh was hurt, I was like, we need to get him back. We need to get him back. You could see it. It was obvious, in my opinion. It said Kansas lost the whole secondary. What? BYU lost their pass rush. Ooh, BYU lost their pass rush. And Iowa State lost their best receiver. So did Texas Tech. Yeah. Now, what is going on with Texas Tech spending $5 million on an O lineman? Like, that's different. I'm like, now, how does that work? If you pay one of your O linemen $5 million, how much do you pay the other guys? Because that's a lot of money. Normally, the quarterback gets that kind of money. And who did y'all say Texas Tech quarterback was? I think y'all was just telling me. I agree with you. I think K-Salt is going undefeated. He already been there. And see, they talk about he got benched. I'm like, okay, they benched him because they wanted to go to a run game, which is stupid. I'm like, so who messes up winning? Oh, I'll tell you, the Tennessee Titans. Because the same year that Steve McNair, who's also a dual threat quarterback, took them to the damn Super Bowl, what did they do the next year? They traded him. They almost won that Super Bowl. And it wasn't a Steve McNair issue. He threw the ball to a guy who fell on the ground and tried to reach the goal line, but just fell short. You're supposed to run that back. But what did they do? They moved their quarterback to Baltimore. Why? Because it made it harder for him to reach the Super Bowl. See, sometimes these teams don't want to win. in with a black quarterback. And I'm gonna just go ahead on and say that. Why would you bench somebody that took you all the way undefeated because they got a new coach and he wanted to do it his way? Yeah, that's what it was. So thankfully, he didn't go to Syracuse. He came where? To Colorado. Caden finna ball out. Caden plays football the same way Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders plays football. Like they love it. Like it's the only thing on earth that matters. Like when they step on that field in between those hash marks, they turn into somebody else with kryptonite. If you watch Caden's highlights, he loves to play the game. He want to win. And one thing I noticed about him, I think when he first came to see you, a lot of talk was getting on his nerves or whatever, too. He was emerging as a leader, but you could see people trying to gravitate towards Juju. Somewhere along the line, he dug deep down in his resolve and he didn't worry about it no more. He didn't worry about it no more. He realized that's just what they're going to do. But that does not negate who you are. And he has emerged as our best quarterback. And I'm thrilled about the fact that he has gone 12-0. He knows how to get there. And then Coach Prime is also that ingredient that transforms teams. You put them two together. People overlook the fact that Coach Prime helped to develop Travis Hunter into the player that he is. Anybody that saw this one particular play, for don't know what game it was, that Coach Prime told Travis, you got one coming right here. Told him what to do. Sure enough, he got an interception. Now, how Coach Prime know that? Because he played the position. He was the best to ever do it. And they discount that. They make it seem like Coach Prime found Travis and Travis was a complete. No, he developed under Coach Prime, which is why Travis even was going to go to Florida State in the first place. But then he got the opportunity to learn from him firsthand. So you damn right I'm going. And everybody agrees. No other school would have let Travis play the way Coach Prime did. The main ingredient is Coach Prime. And they underestimate that. They act like he didn't play football. Larry Johnson and Larry Johnson the third and Zay. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. It said you were on point. Thank you, Joyce. Yeah, like they severely underestimating CU because they want to. It don't have nothing to do with Colorado because they do not want another black head coach in the Big 12, the ACC, the damn show, not the SEC. They have zero. So I even read an article that was it Clemson's coach called out the SEC for not having one black head coach. I'm like, hell, they don't even want a black quarterback at Alabama. Which is why I hate that Keelan Russell went there, but it is what it is. We all got to learn, but there should not be ever another one. Take your talent somewhere else. Somewhere else. There's too many other places out here. Hell, I'm surprised Arkansas and Texas A&M have one. But see, everybody got to learn. See, Texas A&M had to learn because the way they treated one of their head coaches, Kevin Sumlin. Oh, Kevin Sumlin was before Herm Edwards. That's why they thought they knew what they was going to do to Coach Prime. But they underestimated something. They didn't think it through. And now he's going to be around to what, 2029? They already ushering him out the door to another school. Talking about if he wins, somebody else going to scoop him up. Too bad. Coach Prime likes Colorado. That's a marriage made in heaven right there. At first, not everybody was on board. And yeah, the money did make a big difference when things were bad. Absolutely. So to me, every black head coach needs to show up with something that looks like the Prime effect. Get your social media up and bring all the fans to the school that you're going to. It's probably going to work for you. It's probably going to work for you. But you can't just have a coaching resume because it's going to be too many people around hating on you. Unfortunately, black head coaches in a Power 5 are still pioneers. They're still the first this, the first that. We should not be saying that in a sport dominated by black men. That's why Coach Prime gets so much hate. And you're gonna see the same bull junk without Shador and Shiloh on the team, which tells you it was never about that. They don't want him to win. They didn't want him kicking in the door year one, 3-0, possibly going 10-2, because it could have happened. We would have lost to Oregon, but that's okay. We didn't have it all together. We didn't even have the right players in my mindset. It was too many people coming to Colorado because they wanted to take advantage of what Coach Prime could offer, but they want to do the work. We already know who some of those people are. No need to discuss that. But that was just an example of how some of the mindsets were. And to prove it, look at how they acted when they left. Some parents speaking out, like, shut the hell up. You can't go up to your kid job saying stuff because you unhappy with the way things went. So year one, it wasn't an experiment. It was just transformation. And honestly, we probably could have made it to 10-2 with the squad and the personalities and all of the extraneous factors. We could have made it to 10-2. But they wanted to medal after 3-0. Because they knew once we hit them first three, oh shit, they get past Oregon. It's on. Yeah. This year is a running back of year one. Georgia Tech is first. I was like, whose idea was this? Georgia Tech first and Delaware second. Hell, I needed Delaware first. But Caden is that guy. He is that guy. And this year, you can't say that they only talking about one CU player because it's Shador or because it's Shiloh. That was something that they used to drag down the program. Just like they're using it right now to drag down the program. And they gave us the same projection as last year with them because they don't want Coach Prime to be exactly what he is, a transformative coach, not just a game of football, developing players. That's why it don't matter who he get. It don't matter if it's HBCU or Power 5. It don't matter if it's Jackson State or Colorado or Trinity. They went to 3 state championships in high school. That's not easy to do. When you put all of that together, it proves that year one at Colorado was a setup. People started meddling after they went 3-0. They get hated on in year 3, the same way they got hated on in year 1. The same way they got hated on in year 2. It's the same script. Colorado not going to be good. Hoping it'll hurt recruiting. Setting it up that if one player or a few players emerge, they only going to talk about one. So that only one comes out the top in the NFL. What does that tell you? They in on it too. It said recruiting ain't over till that name is signed on a piece of paper. That's how I feel about it. That's why I typically don't get into it. I'm like, and honestly, I feel like they could sign their name on a piece of paper and still go MIA. So, I don't know if we're going to have that poaching like we had last year. I think we have a good group of guys this year. I'm excited to see Zach Atkins. I know he's good. I say he won that they're going to try to poach. Xavier Hill is good. I don't know how much time he has left in college. I don't know his eligibility. This could be his last year. Amari McNeil is one of the leaders, I think, on defense. They don't talk about him, but he good too, right? So I think we're going to be good. I think we have leaders. It's not just one or two leaders. You know how there's leaders and dogs, right? I think Coach Prime could give out a few L's. I think you can give one L per unit, right? I think you can give an L to defense. I think you can give an L on the O-line. I think you can give an L on for the receiver core, right? And I think you can have maybe 3 dogs throughout the team. That's just how I see it, Not saying he needs to change it, but it is a mindset, right? And it does usher in people to kind of take more initiative to hold the team accountable. And unfortunately, you're still dealing with young people whose brains are not fully developed. Well, most of them. I don't think very many of them are 25, who still get in their feelings if they don't feel seen. Y'all know we had one kid who left CU and he was upset because he never had a chance to speak to Coach Prime in his office. He said he never really got a chance to interact with him. We like, is that why you came? Everybody come for a different reason. And you dealing with young people. And I feel like Coach Prime is actually pretty good at getting all of these personalities together. I think he did a really good job of trying as hard as possible to make a difference with Cormani McLean. I really do. I really do. And I think Cormani has grown from that. I think if we'd have just took him right back, it probably he wouldn't have grown as much. But I saw like a video of one of the players made, and they walked into their meeting room, and Cormani was sitting down, and the camera, he realized somebody was recording. He got up and left. It's not the same environment. So that's going to be something he learns from, right? Respect your blessings the first time because you don't know what you're going to get the next time, right? So, I still wish him well, but I do believe in that situation. I feel like Coach Prime tried everything. I really do. It said one black coach is in the ACC at Virginia, two in the Big Ten, Penn State, and Maryland. Oh, really? That's it? It's supposed to be 16, but okay. It said, "Oh, I love your shirt." Yes, 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 yes. I still rep Jackson State. I might not go down to Jackson because I never been there before anyway. But as you can see, I didn't mind going. Of course, I went, right? So I was. This was yesterday, even before I saw the Big 12 Media Day. I was like, I'm missing that Jackson State vibe because it was a vibe. Coach Prime had the vet packed out. It hasn't been packed out like that since. So, that says a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for who's that Northside? Thank you so much for the super stick. I appreciate it. So, it's season 3. It's season 3, so y'all got to get y'all talking points together because I know y'all be in people comments. And we got to show all of our guys some love. I want to get somebody jersey. I think I'm gonna get Caden jersey. Y'all know I roll with the quarterbacks. I think I'm gonna get Caden jersey. I like Caden. I like Caden. Um, I feel like Alabama did not Alabama. What was it? Liberty did us a favor. Sitting him down because you want to start somewhere new. You have a dual threat in Caden, but you want to run the ball. Okay, fine, right? So that was a blessing for us. And I don't know if y'all know, Caden played true football under Coach Prime. So to me, this was God bringing them back together. That's how I look at it. Just like BJ Green, same thing, and he's with Jacksonville right now. It says Kellen DeBoer at Alabama gets treated at Alabama like what? Wait, what? Let me move this. I'm sorry. Wait. What'd you say, Kellen DeBoer? What? Let me move this. It said Kellen DeBoer gets treated at Alabama as a black coach because every school he was at, he started black QBs. Well, is he the one that decided to make what's his name? Keelan Russell a backup? I have a problem with that. He did have Michael Penix Jr., right? He was Michael Penix Jr.'s coach at Washington. Facts. They wishing for a 6-6 season. They gonna be wishing. They gonna be wishing. Cause I'm gonna tell y'all, I think this season is about to be a repeat of what 2023 was supposed to be. We're gonna come in kicking in the door 3-0. They're gonna start messing. See, we already know what to look for. We already know I'm keeping my eye on that O line on the right side. We already kind of know to make sure the game is not close. And another thing I think we might not have an issue with, I do not know why we had late starts. I have no idea. But I have a feeling we probably not gonna have that issue. See, when you change out the quarterback, you do change out the rhythm of the team, right? And I haven't seen anything like that with Caden. So I don't know what that was about. It could be play calling. One thing I did hear, surprisingly, Pat Schumer was talking. I don't know what the hell was just playing on the TV while I wasn't looking at it. You know how stuff pop up in your feed. Coach Schumer told somebody, I'm pretty sure it was him, because I think I looked was like, oh, that's different. He said, yes, I'm willing to call plays to run the ball, but we have to do something other than run straight into a pile. I said, oh, so the play calling. Okay. See, our running backs got to be this year. Charlie Offerdall included, right? And from Michael to Charlie, everybody got to be. And we know we have Marshall Faulk. So maybe one of the reasons we got Marshall Faulk was because I think the running backs weren't developed properly. That's what I think. And when I heard that said today, I said, okay, then that kind of proves it, right? He wasn't willing to call any running plays because he knew they weren't getting anywhere. And that was one of the big problems that we had, in addition to the O line on the right side is weak. So if you correct the running game with Marshall Faulk, even Shador knew how to not overcompensate, but what did he say? Compensate. He knew how to compensate for a weak O line on the right side. What did you see in the Baylor game? He was sacked 8 times. Even the announcers, I guess you could say they show love to Pat Schumer for changing the play instead of having Shador roll out to the right. Because he said it. He said because they knew that's where the weakness was. He rolled out to the left. Because the O-line on the right side was giving way. Go look at the Baylor game. Let me know who you see. I know one person is gone. But I'm probably gonna look at it and see who the other two were, because it was a series of people, right? It was at least 4 or 5 different people in rotation. So we just have to see if the problem in the Baylor game is gone. And that'll tell you what to look for if it's not. But the point is, the O-line could still be problematic on the right side, but not where 3 people are concerned. Maybe 2, maybe 1, right? But if the run game is efficient and we have a mobile quarterback who does not hesitate to run to get the first down or to score, that's why I think we going all the way. It's not the same team that we had, right? It said SDC is ridiculous. I saw Mississippi State replace a black quarterback with someone less talented, just like Browns doing the Shador. Yep. Yes. Yep. Life is hard for black quarterbacks. The haters are attempting to hijack and sabotage Prime's recruiting efforts. Right. So what they're doing is they're trying to say, if you go to CU, only one person is going to come out and go to the NFL. The rest of y'all, you might make it, you might not. In other words, and they trying to, show that he don't have the connections with, college, what the NFL like y'all think, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It said the one game was the Celebration Bowl. So they literally had a perfect regular season. Oh, when they went 12-1? Okay. You're right about that. 12 games plus 1. Okay. And boy, that was heartbreaking the way that ended. Whew. That was heartbreaking the way that ended. Yep. It says, Sloppy said he told them, remember his comment about getting comfortable? Yep. Can't get comfortable. Can't do it. He did tell him, he say fans gonna love you today and not tomorrow. It's all about the way the wind blow. Yep, you're right. He did. It said people forget how skilled Coach Prime is at leading men. That is what they underestimate. And I noticed a difference in his coaching style from Jackson State to Colorado. Like when he would have his meetings, like he would be on them. At Jackson State, I'm like, he was like a black dad with a belt. I was like, what? But he was different at CU. But in my opinion, it didn't change the impact for him to lead, right? Like I said, the only way you're going to take down Shador last year or this year is if the O-line is bad. Why? Why you think he drift backwards out the pocket? Because he see it coming and he know to get the hell on. And we know he can be successful at it, right? Which another video we're going to talk about, reacting to the comments that the vets said in Cleveland that they want Flacco to start. We're going to put a pin in that. We're going to talk about that probably tomorrow because I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I don't want them wasting Shador time, but I don't want them throwing him to the wolves like they did to Sean Kaiser because they'll do it, right? They'll do it. So Um, the only way you're gonna take down Colorado is if you meddle. That's the reality. You have to meddle. I mean, yeah, we could beat ourselves with penalties, but we are past that. We can lose a game like we did with Stanford, but that's on us, right? That don't mean we're gonna lose the whole season. That's one game. The only way you take down CU is to meddle. That Kansas State game, yeah, we lost a lot of receivers, but they were still meddling because we were coming back. And had the pass interference, I think, been called or not called, it would have made a difference. It would have made a difference. And it showed how proficient and strategic Shador is at a quarterback, right? For all of the negativity he got from people in the NFL saying that he called some of the plays, okay, isn't that what quarterbacks do? They just didn't want him to have that type of leadership ability. Because why? Don't be scared to say it. I feel like the more people say it, bias against black quarterbacks in the NFL, bias against black quarterbacks in the NCAA, I think the more people say it, it'll get addressed. It's no need to keep it a secret. It's obvious. And yeah, the NCAA and the NFL working together. Certain schools. Yep. Dak been the most talented melanated QB they had for years. Oh, oh, I forgot Dak went to Mississippi State. Yeah, black coaches and black quarterbacks. Leadership. That's the commonality and why the two groups get done so dirty. Leadership, the influence, the power, the optics at being led. I mean, how many of y'all have? How many of y'all are either leaders in your respective careers of people that are not black? Or how many of you are part of a group where you have a leader and you might be the only chip in the cookie and your leader look like you and not everybody else? It's about leadership. It's not that we can't. That's not what they want to see. I think the more people talk about it, more podcasters talk about it, like they started talking about Georgia. I think if that goes viral and people pick that up, hell, we might talk about it. Because, you know, if I see them starting to do Caden dirty, we probably going to be talking about it. I feel about Caden now the way I feel about Shador. So, you know, Mama Bear, that's what my own kids called me. So, yeah, I feel like that, right? I already kind of could see that they trying to come and I'm coming this way. You know, I'm like, I see you trying to come over here. Like, we gonna talk about it. You're gonna get called out. You're gonna get called out. You're gonna get reacted to. We're gonna have conversations about it. Caden is good. Caden is that guy. Just like I tell y'all, Xavier Hill is also that guy on the O line, in addition to Seaton and probably some other people. Because they don't talk about everybody. They pick and choose, they cherry pick. And sometimes I think they want to highlight people that they know are not good. And the ones that are like Preston Hodge, they want to act like they don't see him. Because why? Then he would be Caden, Preston Hodge, and Jordan C. And if Xavier Hill can go and Xavier Hill, they trying to discount Omarion. That's why. Oh, goddamn, it's a wide receiver, a safety, a corner, two O linemen, the quarterback. God damn, Colorado got 7 people. Yeah. Coming out in the first and second round. Yeah. And don't let that be 2 or 3 in the first round. It's possible. It's possible. It said coaches, referees, reporters, players, many plot for Prime's demise and plot against success, all of which is built on a foundation of jealousy. Right. And get this, right? Before Coach Prime got there, they was nothing. They were going through coaches every other year, it seems like. They had a black coach that ended up at Michigan State, and he ended up in a scandal because he didn't see it coming. And then they got Coach Prime. And they thought they was gonna do the same thing. They thought they was gonna put him in some kind of scandal, and didn't work. He sidestepped it. They thought they was gonna use a woman. He sidestepped it. So they be trying everything. They try a lot because it's about leadership. They be trying everything. That's why I said if the goal is still the same, and it is, it's not just the NFL, it's also college. It's not a coincidence that the NFL is light, is lacking when it comes to a lot of black coaches, even though they have a majority of black players. So is college football. That tell you they're working hand in hand. That's why it's only 16 across the Power Five schools. That's what it says, 16. I don't know if that's true, but that's what it says. It's only one in the Big 12. All the Big 12 teams not good, right? Hmm. They always talk about GT. Oh, went toe to toe with Georgia. Every team get up for their rival. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I watched that game. They took down Miami too. But they still only went 7-6. So while it's true, they did go toe to toe with Georgia, right? Uh, that was a battle. I'm not gonna even lie. That right there was a battle. But they lost to a lot of other people too. So, you know, it was a good game. But I think they actually said that was the game you could tell Georgia not who they used to be. That's how people looked at it. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You're not playing the Georgia you used to know. You playing a Georgia that's on a demise. Because they were even talking about last year, they thought their coach, Kirby Smart, was gonna leave and go to the NFL because they're not winning like they used to. Yep. And it was friction when he didn't leave on good terms. What was it? Carson Beck? See, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that. There was friction when he left and went to Miami. Yep, there sure was. There sure was. See, they don't talk about that though. See, they keep that in house. That's what they want to keep in house. That Carson Beck left Georgia under circumstances or there was friction there because they want to make Georgia look appear a certain way, like everything is good. That's why when it comes out about their players crashing into people's houses and getting arrested and all this stuff, people are like, "Oh my God, no!" If you ask the people locally in Athens or who is in the know with Georgia, I mean, it's not a surprise to them. It's not a surprise to them, but you don't hear nothing like that about Colorado. And it's not perfect, but you don't hear nothing like that. Yep, Coach Prime keep receipts. That's facts. But yeah, Colorado wasn't anything. And there's so many people that's willing, that's just not happy about the success. That's the part that I find sinister, right? That Coach Prime has done a lot of good for Colorado, but there are a lot of people that want to disrupt that for the sole purposes of holding back a melanated coach. Do you know how crazy and wicked that is? You want to disrupt this school's rise in a sense into greatness because Coach Prime has a lot of melanin. Because he's not ambiguously black. We know he's black. His mama is, so is his daddy and his stepdaddy. That's it. Let that sink in. That's the only reason. That's the only reason they don't want Shador, Cam, and Milrow to be in leadership positions on the team because they only had a spackle of melanin in those green rooms. It said Haynes King is a run first QB and no accuracy in the passing game. I don't see him having success against our defense with two projected first rounders. Okay. Which two first rounders are you talking about? Let me know. Who are you saying projected first rounders on defense? Thank you for that, brother. It said, yes, the University of Louisiana Monroe. Oh, that game. Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch that one. Just to mention a few of the haters, Cabot Lewis, OSU coach, Oregon Duck coach. Yeah, they all conspired. Believe me. Believe me. They all conspired. I think they got a group chat. think they have a group chat. That's what I think. Somebody want me to I think do a reaction to another one of her videos. I already did one. I try to stay away from Cleveland while Shador is not there because I gotta protect my peace. I know what time it is over there. It's just I see it starting to mimic in college, and I'm seeing the connection. I don't think I really thought myself because I don't really watch the draft. I think this year I can see it plainly, uh, more so than I could last year because last year we felt like they were just hating on Shador because of Coach Prime, right? But you could see, when you throw in Jalen in the mix and the narrative about uh you know, Cam and this, that, and the other. Like they don't know who the hell Cam is. You say you interviewed him, right? So I can see it now how they work together. They work in cahoots on who they want to come out of college at the QB position. And just like last year in 2024, Carson Beck was at the top. It was quite a few guys at the top, and none of them emerged at the top. But Cam and Shador were like 7, 8, or 9, or 8 and 9, or 9 and 10. They emerged at the top. And just like they have Caden in the top 15, when I read that, I said Caden is probably a 5. Yep. Dak played at Mississippi State. Okay. They sleep on Yaya. Yeah. Yaya looks good. I think he gonna be in good shape this year. I don't know why I didn't see a score for him on that game. I thought he was the center, but I could be wrong. But I think he was. I think Cleveland was ahead of him. And now that Cleveland is at Texas Tech, yeah. So it said Eddie Robinson Jr., Jason Whitlock, Chris Carter. Oh, the haters. Facts. Yeah. Yeah. And people want to, they only hate on Coach Prime so they can get some kind of clout or acceptance. That's really it. Some of these guys left the league. Brainwashed is not the right term, but stripped of their identity is more accurate. And see, Coach Prime still has his. See, Coach Prime did what they didn't do. He maintained his self-worth. He transformed and transitioned after the league into a healthy career at the desk, something that many of them don't do, right? That seems to be reserved for a lot of the white players like the Tom Brady's and other people, right? So he transitioned into a role that they otherwise can't really get. But see, here's the thing. It's because he kept his identity, his self-worth, and he branded himself. He already had a brand before he got to the league. He didn't toss it to the wayside so he could fit in or be accepted and walk out of the league with nothing. And then he took that brand, which is why he was on TV. That's why he was at the desk. And they probably weren't all that nice to him sometimes. I'm sure that was not smooth sailing because that is a position, what they say, a public facing position where people see you, right? So he brought something to the table, that brand, which is also what he brought to Jackson State, he brought to Trinity, and he brought to Colorado. And that's why they can't do him in because he made himself indispensable. That's what he did. And they did not. They did not. So they choose to hate. And the way the world was when these guys were, you know, the topic of conversation every week in sports and football, they ain't have social media. We can decide for ourselves. And that's what's wrong with the NFL right now. They refuse to accept the fact that they cannot control the narrative. See, you could hold Shador back, but now you catching hell for it. Cleveland, same thing. You can hold Shador back, but now you catching hell for it. See, before they could do what they wanted to do and nobody say anything. Because the media, the public, we couldn't see. We can see and choose for ourselves. That's why all the hatred towards CU not gonna stick either. Because again, fans are clapping back, right? It say if CU go 12-0, oh my God, season flood of recruits coming. If CU go 3-0, all recruits need to see is that you could get drafted from CU. And that's what people gonna try to meddle with. That's why they only want to talk about Jordan Seaton. That's why they only want to talk about Travis. They want you to forget what you know. They want the public that don't know who CU is, and I really don't know who that is. Because all of their games were televised, was it in year one and year two, the majority of them, and then in year three, I'm sure we still have a healthy lineup, and I'm sure there are some networks that's like, well, let's see how this go. Okay. Benson came in talking big stuff, then ran into the portal when the season ended. Yup. Absolutely. Arizona State lost a lot of their main players. They lost a running back. Yep, that's the Scatterboo guy, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Here's the thing. I think that's the team out the Big 12 they want to hold up. They want to hold that team up. And they're already saying we're going to finish 10th and 11th with the same prediction as last year. Did y'all think this through? Hit the like button. Yes, please and thank you. It said, I definitely don't want anyone on the O line from Coach Prime first year, first or second on the right side, the top field. Something was wrong. Yep. And here's my thing. That's how you know, like, none of these guys cared enough about their own careers to email Coach Prime and tell him what was happening. Year one, across the board. Year two, on the right side. Coach Prime go about things in an unconventional. NCAA don't like it. They see the benefits smaller schools have success with same methods. Yep. And Coach Prime didn't just open the doors in HBCUs or for a few Division One coaches, smaller schools too. Smaller Division One schools and smaller schools. There was a coach who came out of Marshall. I don't even know where that is. He left because he got a job in Mississippi at some school in Mississippi. Mississippi hired a black football head coach from another school that I think name was Marshall. And when he left, all of his players hopped into the portal to go with him. The Prime effect. Because I said Mississippi. The Prime effect. That was the Prime effect because see, what they're afraid of is what they already know is going to happen, what's already happening, right? Look at the coach at FIU, Willie Simmons, right? Willie Taggart was at FAU. Where is he? He with the Baltimore Ravens. Well, that's good, right? So I think Michael Vick's team is playing Deshaun Jackson's team in the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium. You see? Now that's impactful, right? A HBCU game with two black coaches from the NFL who were players as head coaches gonna have a meetup, a match, a game in the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium. How often do you see that? Michael Vick also has a show like Coach Prime have on Amazon. Michael Vick has one too. His is on BET. See, that's what they don't want. And honestly, Coach Prime's coaches tree is strong. He has a wake. You know, if you ever been on a boat or know anything about boating, when boats zoom through water, they create a wake. It takes the water and divides it and pushes it out to the side, expanding it onto the shore, right? Right? That's what Coach Prime's coaching has already done. That's what his presence has already done. When his contract is up at CU, God will check it off, mission accomplished. If he is wildly successful this year and goes 12-0, it'll prove that year one was a setup. He was meddled with. Because then you could look at his entire track record, and the more and more he's winning on and going forward, you could see, okay, somebody was meddling. Isn't that what people were saying? Yeah. Somebody might talk about it one day. You know how these things go 10, 15 years down the line. Somebody want to be somewhere with their face covered and wearing a shiesty mask telling us about, oh, I was on the O-line and I was told to do this. Well, you telling us now. You know, that's how it goes. These new players don't want to face Coach Swayze punishment after loss, right? Because I remember him on day one. Coach Swayze on day one, he was offended by what happened in the Alamo Bowl. I was like, I get it, but isn't this the introduction? I'm mad at it because he really soft spoken. That's the hilarity of it. That lets you know how upset he was. I was like, this was the introductory meeting. I love Coach Swayze. I think he needs to trademark Body by Swayze. He got those guys looking great. He got them looking great. I think they're back now too. And I saw the cutest video with I love me some Juju. Man, I'm telling y'all. Juju was standing next to Jordan Seaton. And Jordan was saying how he gonna protect for Juju, right? You know, when we get there. And Juju just looked at the camera and said he got a Maybach. I was like, he's so young and funny. It's just funny to me. Cause he was like, that's nice. He has a Maybach. Mind you, this kid is still supposed to be getting ready for his senior year in high school. Here it is with the guys on his team driving Maybachs. I'm sure that that's highly impressive. Jordan Seaton talking about protecting Juju, and Juju's like, with a straight face, he has a Maybach. I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh my God. So I think Jordan Seaton last year will be Juju's first year starting. I think that's going to be special. That's going to be special. It said, that's crazy. I wasn't following them that close to observe all of this. I wasn't just following or rooting for my JSU boys. Yeah. Yep. I was just rooting for my JSU boys. Yeah, we started off like that. It said they stole a touchdown from Jimmy Horn Jr. in one of them games from a taunting call. Yes, because there are three calls. There are three calls the reps can weaponize, and they have weaponized all three: taunting, pass interference, and holding. Now they didn't use holding as much, which was surprising because I felt like it would have been easier with that one. But they definitely weaponized taunting and definitely weaponized pass interference. So it said the new players can't wait to show what they can do. Yep. A winning culture has been established at CU. Facts. And Coach Prime not going to accept anything less. And in year 3, he's getting players that know what time it is. See, in year 1, he had to establish the culture. So we got who we got, like a grab bag, so to speak, of different people and trying to put it all together and then, setting the record straight for this is what's going to happen. But if you paid attention to year 1 at Jackson State in year 2, he was the same. He was the same. He don't play. I still think it's hilarious. He put Shiloh out one of the meetings. He was like, get out. Get out. And what does he do at CU? There's somebody at the door. When that door is closed, this is year 3. Don't come knocking on this door. You're not getting in here. To not be on time. To be 15 minutes early. To be sitting in your seat when he get there. You don't want when he coming across to the front of the room to be trying to get in because the door will already be closed. You will not be on your phone. Right? So they know what time it is. This year 3, we know exactly what time it is. We know what the haters going to try to do, meddle, regardless of what it looks like. We know they're going to try to meddle, hold it back, spin a narrative, push a false narrative. We know they're going to try to pick the kids apart. We know this. This is year 3. Miller was about to go off in that K-State game. Yep, until they injured him. Yep, that was a dirty game. It was. Both Kansas games were dirty. Both, and I'm like, what is it with Kansas? And we have to face them again. So Jimmy Horns, it said a zebra took Jimmy Horn TD for celebrating, and that was crazy. You know how many people call that ridiculous? I felt like that's when the public who was not in the CU orbit but watched the games on TV, right? The people who probably bought Shadour's jersey, that's when they could see, oh, they tripping. Yeah. Yep. It said when Jared Verse was at FSU from Alcorn, they didn't say he couldn't compete at P4. What's that north side? What's that you talking about? It said O lineman got an NFL contract. And yeah, he did. He did because his contract is better than Quinn Ewers, Shador, everybody in the fifth round. I'm serious. I'm serious. He got better than the league minimum. He got better than unsigned free agents. He got better than the seventh round, the sixth round, the fifth round, the fourth round. So he might as well stay in school. Unless somebody can guarantee you something. And you don't need that in writing. It said, yes, Colorado wants to play man to man defense, but our weaknesses was that the swing route by the running back, our linebackers, yes, the swing route caused us some problems. And I don't know why, because we should have known it was coming, especially with Kansas State. Linebackers and safeties couldn't stop them in man, but we stopped it in man cover too. Okay, so do you think we'll be better, brother? Do you think this year? Well, I guess we got to wait and see what we got, right? I mean, we got some of the same people. We still have Carter Stoudemire, we still have DJ McKinney, and we still have Preston Hodge. We lost Colton Hood, though. I hate that because he was good. But, sometimes people just want to do things, different things. It said we have Pat Leftwich, Falk working on the offense. Come on now. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, all of the coaches he has. See, they underestimate Coach Prime. They underestimate the coaching staff. They underestimate Coach Prime's track record, his ability to what? To win, regardless of who's on the roster, because he develops players, right? So, it's a lot there. It's a lot there. All right, so we're gonna get ready to get ourselves out of here. This was excellent. That means we'll likely continue this conversation. And we'll be back tonight. We'll be back I think we'll be back about 12 o'clock. About an hour. Okay, we'll be back. Yeah, we've been talking for a minute. Okay, we'll be back in about an hour because our West Coast people have asked for us to do You Up, the late night podcast. And we did one last night. I was just testing out a new feature and it turned out to be fun. So I'm gonna take a break and come back at about 12 o'clock. If you're up or on the West Coast, or a night owl or working the third shift or a night owl, we'll be back in about an hour, 12 o'clock, 12:15 at the latest. Thanks for hanging out tonight. This is excellent. We'll likely keep having this conversation because it seems to be very engaging and we all seem to, kind of be aligned and on the same page. Thank you for the super chat, Northside. I appreciate you hanging out with us and I appreciate the support. Everybody else, welcome our new members, Miss Pamela and Miss Clara Jones. Thank y'all so much. But we'll be back, everybody. We'll see y'all later. I'll be back in an hour. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.